So today we are going to use white tissue paper and white embossing to work on this freaky collage lady's face. All right, this is more of a craft with me because I don't know that anybody else would ever kind of think of this as an actual project, as it were. But what I'm gonna do, I did a video before about how I like to use white tissue paper with white paint on it, and then also today we're gonna do some white embossing. I was watching a video that nice Vicky Booten did where she went ape nuts over doing white embossing, and it was so nice. I'll make sure I link to it. She's just the sweetest thing. And so I was inspired to do white embossing, but she does super sweet things. Like she does scrapbook pages and things like that. She never makes people look weird, and I do. All right, so let's start with these because what I want to do is I left all of these up so that I could kind of fill in and cover some of this white area. I don't want to do a ton of it, but I do want to get some of it in there. So I'm just going to use very small pieces of this tissue paper and some Mod Podge. And this is matte Mod Podge. I need a Mod Podge brush, but a smaller one today. This is a good one. I've used this one before. Because I got to get behind this. So we're just going to put a little bit behind this. I taped the edge of it. See how much we can, that's perfect. Okay, I taped the edge of it, but not the whole thing, so that I could lift it up and get something going on in here. I knew that I wanted more than just what was happening. All right, let's see. All right, so we're gonna go under here, under this corner. We're gonna stick a paper in there. Okay. It'll go, don't worry. And if there's a wrinkle, that's good. We like wrinkles, right? Okay. This is a very kind of higgledy-piggledy operation today. And then at the end, I will glue down all the edges of the flowers when I get all this done, because I think the white embossing is going to go over it. But wait till you see this. You'll see that there, where there won't be those broad places where you can see the words, because a lot of times with magazine design, one of the things you have to fix is the fact that there are words where there shouldn't be words, right? Like, I don't want words on her forehead for this project. So, but I also don't want to just like glue something over there and be like, no, you won't notice the words there. Okay, so I need another piece. Can I do a piece in the middle here? I'm going to do a piece in the middle here. You know, sometimes if you try too hard to fix something, it winds up looking obvious, and then, you know, it doesn't appear as cool as you would like it to appear. All right, are we going over her? Yeah, I'm going over her earring. Heck yeah, heck to the yeah. Okay. There's a very good chance when I outline, I will outline. What I do with that then is I outline and I include the part underneath the tissue paper. Okay, you'll see it later. And then we have one more piece. Let's do one more piece up here, but I want it to be a lot skinnier than this. All right, let's pull this up. I wish I had more hands. If I had my, so my son watches these Would You Rather videos. I don't know if you don't have kids that watch YouTube, you wouldn't know about Would You Rather. But there was a would you rather have a third eye or an extra appendage, and he was like, oh, I'd probably get a third eye. An extra appendage would be the worst. And I'm like, oh my God, I would kill for a third appendage. Could you imagine? I could be gluing everything all day long. All right, so that's all I'm doing under here. I'm just gonna do the edges now since I have something underneath there. The rest of it's gonna be on top of here. Do not just put Mod Podge on your desk. I have a silicone mat under here that I bought thinking that it would be great. Like the, I hate those wood ones, you know, the ones that look like wood. Like that is my least favorite thing in the world. I have one, but I just couldn't get over the fact it looked like wood. So I bought some that were 3 for $8 from the kitchen section of Amazon. And I have to say that as a deterrent to stuff sticking, it's pretty good. Like you can wash it off, and if you do a lot of gluing, it is pretty handy to have. I don't think that it's as versatile as the ones made for artists. It doesn't, like you really can't put paints on there and do anything with them. You can't mix stuff on there. It's made for cooking and for Mod Podge. So if you're going to do a lot of gluing and you want to have something so that your desk doesn't get ruined, this is an IKEA desk, so your desk doesn't get ruined, it is quite nice. Okay, so do we have all our flowers glued down? Okay, we have all our flowers glued down. Now we're going to go in with phase 2 of our white tissue paper. And this is flowers. You can't see them right now, but this is going to start showing up. You're going to start to see square. Those were squares and these are flowers. So this is the most boring video ever, isn't it? Because you can't see any of what I'm doing. Great. Ought to have the best ratings on this one. All right, so this one's little flowers. And we're going to just put some of those somewhere. Okay, I want to kind of get this edge white. I don't want this weird thing happening over here. So I'm going to put a piece over here. That's what I was saying. With magazine collage, a lot of times you have to fix things, right? Like, I don't mind if there's a little bit of the edge peeking out, but nothing I can do. That's how big the piece of paper was. Okay, I want something up here. Okay, I like that to kind of bridge that, but I don't want it sharpened. Boop, boop, boop. All right, and so slowly those letters are disappearing. Even though we're not getting rid of them, they're kind of fading into the background as we add different layers. So this part down here, we know we need to do something fun over here, and I have just the thing. I am going to have a piece of this coming, I'm going to have a piece of this coming up off the bottom. And then I will for sure, because this, I don't want this to look like, oh, she just stuck a piece of tissue paper on here. We'll definitely do a little bit of that white embossing there. And I just bought a new embossing pad. It's called the Wow embossing pad. I've heard good things about it. I generally use the Versamark, and I'm thrilled with it. I love the Versamark. If you have Versamarks and you're not weird like me and like to buy craft supplies, then for sure the Versamark is a good choice. You don't have to run out and buy something new. But I kept hearing good things about this Wow embossing pad, and I thought I would try it, and I think we're going to try it today. So that's kind of cool. I feel like this is a very harsh line up here, this whatever's happening over here. So I want to, I'm trying to blend the piece with the background, like the edges, the border, right? You want a border. I like a border, but I don't want the border to be just floating out there all by itself. I want it to be incorporated into the piece. So that's good. I like that. Uh-oh. Gosh. We are going through some Mod Podge today. Okay, here we go. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Oh, yay, we got a wrinkle. Okay, so that's good. I like what's going on there. Do we want another? See, I thought I would probably do 2 layers down here, just because I'm afraid that that word, because it's so long and it's so bright, could be distracting to my viewers, right? The people viewing my art. So this is less about, I don't love this kind of turned into a straight line there. So let's pull some of this off. There we go. Now we have a little bit less of a straight line. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to give it a wee minute to dry, and we'll come back and do the white. Oh, we have some more. We'll do the white embossing when you come back. All right, so we're going to use the Wow embossing pad. I got this from the Seth Apter store. And I have a guest crafter, Desi, here. Say hi to the people, Des.
Hi.
This is her first time embossing too. And what you do is you put it on, your stamp on the embossing pad. And like she said the first time, there's nothing there. So it feels like there's nothing there. But when you put the embossing powder on it, so I use this little embossing tray. You could literally just use a piece of typing paper. This is extra fine white embossing powder. It's a Ranger product. You put it on, tap it off, tap, tap, tap. Perfect. Close up your embossing powder. That's the most important thing because I have blown my embossing powder all over my desk. You're gonna get the heat tool out. And you can use any heat tool you have. I've had this one for like 10 years. And then you just heat it. You try not to get too close because you could burn your paper, but as you see, as it embosses, it melts the little plastic crystals and turns it into a really cool raised plate. We're going to do a bunch of embossing. I'm going to let Desi do some more. I'm going to do some. We're going to do it on a fast forward so you can watch us emboss. And it is like magic. It's the funnest thing. Primary crafter. So I kind of feel like I've lost a little bit of her in this, and since this is kind of an embossing thing for me, first off we've got to get the embossing powder off because anywhere there's embossing powder it will melt. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fun embossing powder. This is called Embossing Glaze. It's by Distress, and what we're going to do is we're going to come in here with an embossing pen. And we're going to add a little bit of this back in, this little shading in here. So we're just going to add little pieces of this back in. And you'll like this because it is translucent. So it's not going to be like as if I embossed the white and it was opaque. This is just going to give us a hint. Now this is called Vintage Photo. I don't want it on her face at all. Okay, I just want it kind of in there. See how that's giving us a little bit of the outline of her face back? I'm going to do it over here and kind of get the outline of her head back. Right? So we lost some of that. When we did all that embossing, right? Okay, so we want to try to get as much of that out of the white embossing as we can because it'll melt in there. Okay, there we go. That's good. There we go. And I think I'm going to do along her jawline here. A little bit. And I'm doing this a little bit at a time because I don't want to do a ton of it and then go, oh, I don't like that. With this kind of thing where you're doing something that you're not totally sure of, and for big places where it's not where I want it, I tend to use a paintbrush. And we can get all of that off of there because we don't want to mess up our pretty white part, right? Okay, let's see how that looks. And I think this is going to work better because she was already weird looking, right? She was already this kind of stylized. I'm going to come up in here by her ear and by her hair. So I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to cover this little bit of white bit and then come down here and kind of do a little bit here in her neck area to kind of accentuate her chin. And then kind of down over here so we can get that part of her body back. And let's do here. And then over through here to get her shoulder. Okay, that's a big area. All right. All right. Paintbrush. Paintbrush. Seriously. Oh, here it is. Okay. So we want to get all this off so we can keep that neutral background and we can keep the white. Okay. All right, perfect. Now, had I done this with, cover your embossing powder or you'll blow it all over your room. Had I done this with a paint pen instead, which is what I tend to typically use, it wouldn't be clear like this. It wouldn't be this sort of see-through, kind of a little bit glossy. And now I do see that I'm going to want to come down here a little bit. And I am going to do this side. So I'm going to make this a little skinnier. We're going to come down here and we're going to do this side a little bit. And kind of peter it out so it's balanced. There we go. Wally. Okay, now we gotta be careful up around her eye here because I don't want this to have all kinds of, I don't even know you'd see it on the black, but you'd have glossy bits on the black. All right, let's do this. Oh, I love that. I love what this is doing with this. Okay. All right. I feel like this is all I'm gonna do for right this second. I don't want to overwork it. I think she's done for right now. I may do something else with her another time. But for right this second, I am calling her done, and I'm going to put her into my art journal. There you go. Tara Jacobson, Artsy Fartsy Life.